start. Okay, all right. So, this is Unity. Uh, from where we stopped in the last class, we were talking about materials and how to get materials set up for our environment. We have a few things. I think where we stopped was environment staging. Okay, environment staging. I didn't like break down what it is, so I'm going to be doing that today and showing us how to put together an environment. Last week I just showed us what we can do with Unity and how to navigate the Unity editor. Today I'm going to be actually showing us how to put together an actual level, an actual playable level. It's going to be something small and concise, but it would help us out to see how to set up um an environment more or less. Okay, so in game development, environment staging refers to the process of designing, preparing the game environment or level before it is ready for gameplay. It involves setting up and arranging all necessary elements within the game scene to create a visually appealing and functional environment for players to interact with. Okay, we put together the environment before it is ready for gameplay. Environment is where the players or users of the project or game would interact with. Okay, so if we are trying to create something like an FPS, we'll be creating a level for probably navigating let's say we're creating an FPS like Call of Duty. For those of us who have played Call of Duty, you'd see like the environments for different levels that you'd be able to play, navigate, hide, move around, interact with doors, pick up weapons, and all of that. So that space in with which you move around is called the environment. Okay, so a group of people puts together that environment, and that's what is called environment staging, putting up every element that makes up an environment. It can also be called level design, okay, which includes actually creating the layout and structure of the game level, placing every object, obstacle, interactive elements within the scene, and defining the overall flow and progression of the gameplay. So, level design as part of environment staging is actually sitting down to, put together different layouts, different objects, obstacles, and interactable elements that are going to be scattered across the environment. That's level design. Okay. And then environment staging also goes to the point of terrain and landscape. Okay, you would notice there are some games where you'd see trees, you'd see the grass, the floor, flowers, and all of those kind of stuff. That's terrain and landscape. Unity has a tool in which you sculpt and paint terrains to create natural landscapes, such as like hills, mountains, valleys, and all those other stuff that I talked about. There are systems and there are tools which you can use to create and simulate water, fog, particles that are going to be spawned across the level, and so on and so forth. And then as part of environment staging, you also work with lighting. So lighting or properly lighting an environment. So proper lighting is essential to set the mood and atmosphere of a game environment. Unity's engine contains like various lighting options like directional lights, point lights, spotlights, which can be adjusted to achieve a desired effect. Additionally, effects like shadows, reflections, particle systems, and post-processing affects the entire look and feel of the game. So these effects can be applied to enhance the visual quality of the environment. Okay, and then another very good part of environment staging is audio. Okay, setting up um, audio components of a level kind of gives this sort of ambience. You know, when you are in the forest, you'll be hearing chirping of birds, maybe footsteps from animals moving in the distance, and all of that. All of those kind of stuff put together actually gives a good feel of the game environment and, enhances the player experience. So I'm just going to jump into this and we're going to be putting together a level or a simple level. I'm just going to create a new scene. For those of us who don't know how to do that, you can right click on our project. Okay, so let me change this because not everyone would have the default what I have. So this is the default layout that Unity uses. Okay, like I said, this is the project window, the console. This is our hierarchy, the scene, the game view, and all of that. So we're going to be working a whole lot today on the scene view as we're setting up an environment. This was what I used as an example for putting together materials. Okay. All right. So let's jump right into it. So when setting up an environment, you'll be working with um, 3D assets, okay? 3D assets. And going to I'm going to get a 3D asset for us to work with. Okay, let's create a new scene. So go to your project window under assets. Either you create a new folder and call the folder scenes, but Unity already has that by default. So just go to scenes and then create a new scene. So I'm going to create a new scene and call this scene environment. Or let's just say staging. Environment staging. Okay, let's call that environment staging and double click to open it. So when you have a new scene, Unity gives you this empty scene that only contains your main camera and your directional lights. Okay, so these are the only two things that Unity would give you by default. Okay, all right. Last week we looked at materials. Today we're going to actually look at 3D assets in order to put together a scene. All right. Okay. So you can go to, for those of us who have a Unity account, you can go to your, you can go to the Unity Assets Store. Okay, you can go to the Unity Assets Store and search up this asset. It's called RPG slash FPS. Okay, so just search RPG slash FPS and click on it, and then scroll all the way down. You would see this assets, RPG slash FPS game assets. Okay, so that's the assets we're going to be working with. It's free and it's just about 200 MB. Okay, so this asset works well for PC and mobile games. So that's what we're going to be working with. We're going to be creating a simple environment. If you can see my screen, a simple environment just like this, something you can move around in. Okay, just to get you guys accustomed to how to set up an environment. This particular one is quite complex. There are a whole lot of things going on here, but we're going to put together something similar to this but simpler. Okay, just to get us started with how to set a scene, how to put an environment scene together. Okay, how to work with 3D assets that you'd most likely get from your 3D artist when working with a team, and so on and so forth. Because sometimes your game engine can be used as more than making a game. You can use a game engine for more than games. Okay, you can create like a simulation to sort of simulate something you're working on, or things that will be different from that. All right, so let's get the assets. Okay, so usually you'd see um add to assets library. Okay, so this is a list of my assets. I already have this asset installed, so I'm going to show you how to bring that asset into Unity. So when you have the asset, it should show open in Unity, but you can also get the assets in Unity by going to your menu tab. This is your menu tab. Go to Windows, and then under Windows, look for your package manager. So when you open your package manager under your package, let me make this full screen. All right, under the packages, this is what will be there at default. Okay, all these are Unity standard assets. Okay, so these are all the standard assets Unity would give you of right off the bat. So you can just go to my assets, and then currently these are all the assets I have and I work with. So you can go to the assets you're looking for, which is in our case the RPG FPS game assets. Okay, and then download the assets. You'd see a prompt, it would download the assets for you, and when the asset is done downloading, import. Okay, so when you import the assets, you would see, okay, so all right, this imports Unity package would show up. Let me expand this. So you can go through and see what you need. There's sometimes there will be some things you might not want to use. Just uncheck for those, but we'll be needing more or less everything that is currently here. So just hit import. I already have these assets imported while I was trying to put together what we would be learning today, so I won't have to do that. So you import the assets, and then you would have it as part of your project folder. So this is the assets here in Unity. So you have all of these components and all of these elements that have been arranged for you. So these are barrels, boxes, buildings, containers. Okay, this is something else, donation. So all of these have been put together for people who would want to use them. Okay, so let's just check the assets that are here. So as you can see, we have 3D components that we can use to put together our environments. Okay, so this is an oil tank. This is a concrete fence. Okay, so these are all different. So these are all different components, different 3D components. Okay, I think just to make sure. Okay. All right. Someone. Okay. Yeah. Do we have a question? What's up? Idris, you have your hand raised.
Yes.
All right.
Which of the assets should we download? Which one are you working with? I have industrial sets, V3.0, V2.0, V1.0.
Okay. I'm working with V 2.0. Yeah. Industrial set V 2.0. Okay. So yeah. Thank you for asking. So yeah. We're working with V 2.0. All right. I hope everyone is cool with that. Any other questions or concerns?
Yeah, sorry, I just still need to get where you get the asset from.
Okay, you just go to the Unity Asset Store, all right? Okay, you can just go to the Unity Asset Store. Search assetstore.unity.com. Okay, you would be prompted, if you're not signed in, you'll be prompted to sign in. So when you're signed in, you can search up for the particular assets. Okay, so when you have that asset installed, when you have the assets downloaded and as part of your assets, you'll be able to use them here. So you'd be able to use them in Unity. So I just got this, so you'll be able to open them in Unity or use the package manager in. So you can get to assetstore.unity.com. All right. Okay. I hope we're all good. All right. I will just go back to, so yeah, that's how you can get the assets. Okay. All right. So these assets are, okay, so these are cargo containers and hangar bays, different, you have a bunch of environment assets that you can use to put together the environment, and these are different type of road components that would be working with. So yeah, there we go. So we created a new scene in our scenes folder, the environment staging. So in that scene, okay, all right, that's no problem. Yeah, in case you get any errors on your console, you can just clear. Sometimes the errors are just Unity trying to confirm a few things. So you can just clear them. Okay. Okay, let's see. Getting that was a few people have questions. All right. Okay. Okay, I think I've answered these already. Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure that everyone is following along nicely so that we don't leave anyone behind. Okay.
Hello,
Yeah.
hello, hello. Sir, please, can you run us through again how you can open the assets directly from Unity?
Okay. All right. So quickly, um, I'll take this slow. So go to your menu tab at the top left corner. Okay, you see File, Edit, Assets, and then go to Window. Okay, so when you
Okay,
see the window drop down, you'd see the Package Manager. You can click the Package Manager to open up. So usually Unity would start you off with the Unity registry, but go to Packages. It's also at the top left of your Package Manager window. Okay, then go to My Assets. All right, are we good?
okay.
Okay, my assets. So
Yeah,
navigate through. I have a bunch of assets here, but that might not be the case for you. So you can just scroll through and look for the assets you just downloaded. That's the RPG/FPS game assets for PC and mobile.
okay,
Okay, so you'd see that and then download. When you download the assets, you'll be able to import it to Unity. Okay,
okay, okay.
yeah,
Downloading already.
all right, awesome. So when you download the assets, you can easily import the assets from there. All right. So it's about 200 MB. So I don't know, depending on your internet speed. So, but immediately it's done downloading, you can just hit import and then import the assets to Unity. And like I said, when you import the assets, you would see it in your assets folder. And then it comes with all of these folders, all that would be useful. So barrels, boxes, buildings, and so on and so forth, which we're going to use to put together the environment we'll be working with. So for those of us that way, oh, let me just be general about this. So in order to properly set your environment, you would have to be using shortcuts. So we're going to be using a whole lot of shortcuts, and I'm going to be telling you what shortcuts I'm using as I'm using them, so that nobody is, stuck on a particular part. But I might be a little bit fast so that we can cover as much. But as much as possible, if you don't get everything right away, you can always go back and rewatch the video. We're currently recording this, so you can go back and watch the video if anything is not clear to you. You can also ask questions on the group if you have issues. If we have our mics on, can we please mute our mics because I'm getting feedback from people. Someone's mic is on and I'm like getting feedback. All right, awesome. Thank you guys so much. Okay, so let's jump right into it, shall we? Let's put together a very simple industry looking environment, that people can play. I would say something like let's do something similar to what Call of Duty has. Not exactly what Call of Duty has for what's the name of this level? Um, cargo hold. I'm not sure if that's the word now, but there's a particular level in Call of Duty that has a whole lot of cargo bays and um, stuff like that. So let's put something, something similar to that. So this is Unity's empty scene. Okay, so a very good rule of thumb I'd advise people is to get used to your Q, W, E, R, and T keys. Okay, those are the keys that you would use to navigate quickly around your level, and F. Yeah, so Q, W, E, R, and T. You would notice that there are a few things changing on my scene. Q, E, Q, W, E, R, T. Okay, so what are these keys? Q is your view tool. Okay, so significantly, you'd be using your view tool to, let me say, pan and move around, just to get the proper look of your scene. So let's say you have something that's off the scene view and you want to like go across, you can just use your you can just hit Q and then it will take you to your view tool, this hand, okay, and then you can pan around your scene view. Okay, so W is the move tool. All right, so the move tool comes with this gizmo, and the gizmo is going to allow you to move around your objects. Okay, move around your selected object. Okay, so this is the camera currently, so I can move around the camera. E is going to enable you to rotate your objects. So this allows you to rotate your objects around a specific axis, depending on how you want to rotate, what orientation you want to rotate that object. Okay, or you can just click anywhere within and then rotate that. So I'm just going to set this back to where it was. All right, so and then so we can use F to kind of focus on the selected game object. F. So let's say this is out of reach and then I want to focus on it. I can just hit F and then it brings that particular object to focus, so I can now see the object clearly. R is our scale tool. We can use R to scale in and out of our game objects. Okay, and then T is our rec tool. Okay, so we can use T as a kind of scaling tool, but more like scaling with precision. So if I have a cube in my scene, if I have a cube in my scene, I can move my cube with W and then hit W and then move your cube. And then if I hit T for my rec tool and I want to scale my cube in a particular direction such that it doesn't really deform so much, I can scale it towards that direction. You get, and then from top angle, scale it there too. Okay, instead of using the scale tool, which scales on both sides. Okay, if you're scaling with your scale tool, it would scale on both sides. Now, if I do that for the top view, it will scale on both sides. But if I just want to scale towards a direction, I can just hit T for my rect tool and scale towards just that direction. Let's say I want this to be perfectly aligned here. I can just scale towards that direction. Okay, so let's get rid of that and start putting together our scene. Okay, and like I said, yeah, Q is to view, W is to move, E to rotate, R to scale, T to, let me say, scale with precision. All right, so those are the tools that you'll be using, and then finally F to bring to focus. All right, so let's go to our, for those of us that are following along, let's go to the RPG FPS assets, okay, in our project window. So this is the project window so that we can all see that. So assets and then RPG FPS game assets industry. Okay, so these are all the assets we'll be working with. So if we open this, we can see you can have direct access to everything. So for convenience, I just like to have all of these sort of opened out so that I can easily navigate through. So you can see these are the barrels. Let's bring this up more. Okay, so these are the barrels, and then you can view from here. So this is the 3D barrel. Okay, and then buildings, you can open them up and then see the buildings. Okay, and then we have multiple, like I showed you earlier. We have all of these, I have access to all of these to put together our level. All right, okay, so you can just go through and see everything that you have. So these are cargoes. Okay, some of them are open, some of them are not. Yeah, so, and I'm going to teach us something really cool at the end of the um at the end of today's class, so that by tomorrow we would start working on actual programming and gameplay logic. Okay, so that we don't have to go back and forth. I'm going to teach us how to okay, I just got a notification. Are we good? All right, Mohammed.
Yeah, so I am on the website to download the RPG FPS package, but it's saying I need to buy it.
It's saying what?
It said I need to buy it.
No, the RPG package is free. It's a free asset. So probably, okay, let me just put the link here on the group, on the chat so that we can all get it directly. So this is the link. So follow that link and then that would be where you get it. Probably you got the wrong assets because sometimes the bunch of assets in the Unity Assets store that are quite similar. Okay, so are we good? All right, so back to Unity. All right, so we have access to all of these assets, and then let's put together something simple. Let's look at the, so you can go all the way to road, okay, and then let's start with the floor. Okay, that way we can have a sort of arrangement to how we can structure like a top-down view of what the environment would look like. Okay, and then we can start building, putting our buildings on the floor, that kind of thing. You know how buildings work, or more or less. So think like, so that's one good thing I enjoy about game development and working with 3D environments. It gets you to think, think out of the box. So if you're working on a medical clinic environment, how would a doctor or an interior designer set that environment together? So now that we're trying to put together like an a environment for like an industry type of thing, how would a civil engineer, go about, setting things up? Okay, so let's kind of look at it from a top-down view. Okay, in order to do that, let's look at this gizmo, this tool on our scene view. So on our scene view, there's a tool that allows us to get our orientation. Okay, so let's click on the y-axis, this green let's click on the y-axis. I don't know what this is called. I can't remember. But let's just click on the y-axis. Okay. So these different handles, yeah, they're called handles. These different handles help us check the sort of view, what view we're working with. Okay. So let's click on the y-axis so that we can have a top-down look of the environment, and then um, start putting together the road, okay, the floor. So you can go through the different floor. I'm looking for the very basic one, okay, a very basic floor. Yeah, so something like this or this. So let's put a kind of road channel or road path. Okay, now for those of us who met me last week, I mentioned that I'm quite an organization freak. So let's create a. Okay, now before I do that, so that everyone follows. So right click and click on an empty. Okay, an empty game object gives you an empty, so nothing would be there. Okay, you just have an empty game object that you can use to organize your environment or organize your game scene. Okay, so this let's call this environment. Okay, so everything within the environment would be inside, and every other thing that won't be in the environment would create another empty object for that. Okay, let me. So if your environment, if your game object is not properly set up here in your inspector, you can reset that game object to 000. So 000 means it's at the center of the scene. So if I hit with environment selected and I hit F, it takes me straight to the, so this is the center of our scene. Okay, this is the center of our screen. So you can use your mouse scroll, your scroll wheel to zoom out so that you can properly see the environment. Now let's be sure to not use something different. Okay, so just to make sure, go to roads, okay, and then road sets, and then road sets version 1. Don't use the source because the source is the actual game object itself, and which doesn't contain so much. Okay, so use this road set version 1, and then you have prefabs. I would explain what prefabs are very soon. Okay, so let's say, or let me just quickly do that now. Let's say you want to have multiple of one particular asset. Okay, you want to reuse a particular asset. Instead of creating it here, let's create a cube. Instead of creating it here and then duplicating and duplicating and duplicating and duplicating and duplicating, you can just make it into a prefab. And what is a prefab? So get rid of all of this. This is the cube. Let's say this is going to be like a floor panel. Okay, so you can drag your floor panel into your assets, and you can see it automatically updates that floor panel or that floor panel game object. And that floor panel game object the version you have of it in your scene view, in your project window, is called the prefab. All right. So that prefab is something you can take and bring back. Okay. That way Unity understands that this is a duplicate of this object. So I don't have to, recompute it as a separate object. Okay. So if you are just reusing and reusing and reusing without it being a prefab, you're just more or less stressing Unity. That's the easiest way I can explain that for now. But by the time you start going into code and computing and all of that, I would be able to explain deeper to what's actually going on when you're using a prefab. But for now, in order to, let me say, make it easier for Unity to identify that particular object, especially if you're using it, if you're going to be using it multiple times, it's best to have it as a prefab so Unity would know that, okay, this is just a copy of something that already exists within the project. Okay, so let's go get rid of that and get rid of this. So delete that. Okay, so okay, let's see. I just got a notification. Okay, wow. Okay, so quickly I will um let's go to the roads and start setting up the road. So make sure you are on top view. Okay, so if you're not in top view, just click on this gizmo on the y-axis, this green handle, and then yeah, set yourself properly, and then F to focus on that. Then try to zoom around to make sure you're properly placed. Okay, so let's put together the road. Drag your road set version 1 into the scene. Either you drag it into the scene like so, or you can drag it into the environment game object. Okay, so this environment game object is empty, so nothing will be there, but we can just put this inside. That would automatically make the road set version 1 tile a child of the game object environment. Okay, so if we move this environment, everything within it moves. Okay, so that's the whole concept of child parent relationship. Okay, the child inherits the transform components, transform property of the parent. Okay, so all right, anyone with a question or okay, Idris?
Yeah, sorry. Getting a notification that saying my call will end in few minutes. I don't understand. Like,
Yeah, don't worry about that. Google Meet only allows 1 hour, so everybody can just reconnect to start a new session after this. So that's not really a
oh,
big issue. Yeah, it's a Google Meet thing.
okay,
All right. Yeah, thank
okay.
you. Awesome. Okay. So yeah, let's for organization's sake, let's because we're in the environment, we're going to be having different parts. So let's create another empty quickly and call this roads. So all our roads will be in this. So just drag. So all our roads would be in the road game object. Will be children of the game of the roads game object. Just to kind of make your mind at ease, we can create another game object and then call this game object buildings. Okay, so all the buildings would be inside this buildings empty game object. Okay, so let's work with the roads. All right, so for roads, we have this road. Okay, now Unity already knows that this road is a single game object and it's a prefab since we have the road as part of our project. Okay, so we can duplicate this without having to worry so much about how Unity would understand this. Instead of Unity to, recompile and recompile and figure out what this object is, we're just trying to tell Unity that, okay, we have this game object, but this game object is a, let me see, a version a version of the set game objects that we have in our project. Okay, so if we duplicate that, we can have more of this. So yes, to properly um, to make sure that we have this seamless transition between the two, because we're trying to build a road network now. So have this seamless, because now if I drag this away just a bit, you can see that it doesn't match up. So if I go here, you can see that it lines seamlessly. I have my grid snapping tool on. So if I don't have it on, you can see that it moves, it doesn't, I have to probably like zoom in. See, you can, if you notice, there's this break. I have to like try to align this properly before it sets, and I'm not even perfect at doing that. So in order to make sure that your environment elements are properly aligned and properly arranged, okay, within the scene, we can switch on snapping. Okay, we can switch on snapping. So we can, this is our snapping tool. If I delete this, make sure your snapping tool is switched on, and you can set whatever um, snap value you want to use. I'm currently using 0.5. Okay, I'm currently using 0.5. You can use 1 or 0.5, but if your environment is quite large, you would want to use something higher than that. So that's 0.5. Okay, so 0.5. So, but for now, I'd advise you use 0.5 so you can follow along. By the time you start getting used to putting environments together, you would be using larger snap values. So Control D to duplicate. Okay, so that's, if I go back, you can either duplicate by right clicking on your game object and then duplicate, or the shortcut for duplicating a game object is Control D. Select the game object and hit Control D. Okay, it will give you another instance of that game object. And then with W, you can, okay, with W, you can move that object. You can see that it's giving this snappy movement. Okay, it's giving this snappy movement. It's like that, that, that. It's trying to make sure that it meets every 0.5 so that we have this seamless transition. Okay, so let's join the new meeting link so that we can, okay, let's finish this up first. Let this current one finish, and then we can join the new one and finish things up. So let's zoom out just a little bit, and then click on this and duplicate, and then move this just to the side a little bit. Okay, I think I moved past that, so just one. All right, so okay, all right, yeah, Idris, what's up?
Yeah, I want to ask, which of these road asset did you use? Is it like where is it located? I can see you have Taiwan, so you know the name is not. I can't see the full name from my assets, so I want to
Okay,
know where.
all right. So you navigate to. Let me just take you step by step. The RPG FPS actual game assets. Okay. Then go all the way to roads. All right. So under roads, go to road sets and then road sets version 1. And then the one you'll be using is version 1 tile 1. Okay.
Okay, okay, that's what.
Roads.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Okay. Version
Is
1
the last. Yeah.
tile 1. All right. Awesome. So that's what we are using. All right. So okay, yeah. So we have this, but we want to kind of change it up a bit because it's going to be boring if we just have like the road going on and on and on continuously like that. So let's add curves and you know these. So this is a bend. No. Let's use something that would just curve a little bit on the road. All right, something like this. Okay, I think this would work. All right, so let's drag this into the roads. And now we have this, and then we can drag this here and then put this properly, set this up properly. All right, so now we have a curve on our road. Okay, we're moving down this road and then this curves to the side. Okay, so that is something interesting there. Okay, so if we duplicate this and then E to rotate, we can rotate this. But if the rotation is getting kind of weird for you, you can snap your rotation by holding down control, okay? Or just come over here and then put in the rotation value we want. So I can just use like 90 degrees. 90 degrees puts us at a right angle. So, okay. All right, so I'm going to join this back and we can continue class. All right, do we have everyone back in?
Not yet,
Okay,
but we can continue.
yeah.
Hi, Daniel. I have a quick question before everyone comes back in.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, so I just imported every of the assets and I just went into the road section, the road um folder, and everything is appearing in pink shaders, pink yeah,
Everything is
pink
appearing
buttons.
pink. Okay. Sorry, Idris, could you mute your mic? I think, yeah, thank you. Okay, they're all appearing pink. Did you start are you using URP at the moment?
Yes, I am.
The project does not support URP. Except, okay, okay, what you can do is go to your menus tab, your menus window, and
Okay.
go to edit.
Yes.
All right.
Rendering,
Yeah,
materials.
materials, and then you can update the materials. Update all the
Yeah,
material.
that area is grayed out. Convert selected built-in materials to URP. It's grayed
Okay.
out.
It's grayed out for you.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. I think what you can do is okay, let's get rid of URP for now. You shouldn't be using URP for now. Okay, so you can just go to your Unity package manager.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Unity registry,
Okay.
and then scroll all the way till you find Universal Render Pipeline or Universal RP,
Okay.
and then remove it.
Right.
Yeah.
Hmm?
So Unity will try to recompile and get everything set up properly.
Okay. I think that's going on at the moment.
Okay. So if you have any other issues, like if it doesn't like come back to normal, just let me know and then we can
Alright,
figure it
thank
out
you.
from there. All right, awesome. Okay, so back to putting this together. Yeah, so W, and then we just brought in, okay, yeah, we just put in this new, so if I go back, this was at 0 before, so either you use your rotation tool, that's E, shortcut E, and then hold down Control to snap your rotation all the way till you get like 90 degrees or what looks like 90 degrees, or you can just go straight and to your rotation, go to your select your game object, go to your transform property, and then rotation Y 90 degrees. Okay, that would set you up 90 degrees. Then switch back to W and move it till it snaps perfectly on the road. Okay, so we have this sort of road going on. So let's make a road that goes something like this, and then up here, and then to the side. Let's do that quickly. So can use everything I have mentioned, duplicate, move, and then click on the curve, duplicate, and then move all the way. But we want this to be rotated, so just go 90 degrees. 90 doesn't work. 180, okay, 180, but not this way. So let's say minus 180. Okay, that doesn't work either. Minus 90. Okay, minus 90 works. All right, so just play around till you get what works for you. So yeah, so we have this road, and then I want it to come like this. So we can duplicate this. Like I said, you would have to think a bit like an engineer trying to set up his environment, you know. So since that snaps, so we have this road system going all the way here to here, and then duplicate this, and then bring this over here. You can always zoom in to make sure that what you have looks good, and then duplicate that again, snap. All right, and okay, so have this road come up here, and then duplicate, have this road come here. Okay, so we have a sort of road system, okay, working for us. So what I want to do is I'm going to block this road here, and then block this also here, and then put something like a fence around the road, or a bunch of buildings around the road. But for that, yeah, let's look for the road set version 1 floor. So we want to cover up all of this. Okay, so let's put floor. Let's drag our floor into the scene. Okay, so we have our floor in the scene. Well, it's always advisable not to drag it directly into the scene because it won't snap properly. So just drag it into roads, okay, so that it snaps right in the middle of roads, and then it would pick up the snapping property from then, and then you can easily snap it across, and then cover up the road, duplicate that, and then cover up the road, duplicate that, and then there we go. Oh, that is not properly snapped. So you can practice this later on, or follow up on what you need to do. Okay, so I think this looks okay so far. What I want to do, or what I want us to do now, is to create so this is a sort of road. Okay, so it comes all the way here and then all the way there. So now in our buildings, we want to cover up these two parts. Okay, so let's go to buildings, all right, and then look for building that can cover these two parts, probably like an entrance. I think one of the ones that could work is a hangar, one of these hangars. Okay, sorry. Okay, one of the hangers might work very well for us. Okay, something like this. Okay, so that is hanger 2 version 1. So drag that into buildings and then move it all the way here. Now just to make sure that that is perfectly set up, okay, here, and then snap it to the road. Okay, let's make sure it's properly snapped to the road. Yeah, right on the corner there. So yeah, that is perfect. Not so much yet. Let's confirm that. Okay, so it's aligned there. Let's make sure it's properly aligned in the front too. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, you can just go straight into the building from there. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so let's do the same thing for the other side. Okay, let's do the same thing for the other side. Let's say the players start here and then ends here, but then the player can move around the entire scene. So let's get a different hangar or a different building for this. Let's say something, let's use this and then drag into buildings. It's a snap to the center. Let's go back here and then rotate this 90 degrees and then try to align that. Okay, 90 degrees doesn't work. Okay, let's try to use our rotate tool and then get position there. All right, there we go. Okay, so I think 270 works there. So majority of what you'll be doing when working with environment, setting up an environment is trial and error. So just try to make sure that everything looks good and works okay for you. And then position this properly. It's not aligned vertically. So yeah. Okay, so alright, move this close and then make sure it is on that building. So we have the road closed up now. So the player can start here and end here. Maybe give yourself goals or whatever. But for now, we have a simple environment that we can build off of. Okay, so now let's put a bunch of things together. All right, let's put a bunch of things together to make this environment look good. Let's cover up the road. Let's cover up the sides of the road with let me see, a fence. Okay, so I don't know if there are fences here. There should be a kind of fence somewhere. Okay, yeah, fences. Okay, so concrete fences. Let's check through the fences that we have. Okay, so there's a two-sided fence. There's another fence here. Okay, I think this fence works very well. So let's drag in the fence. Okay, just for organization's sake, okay, let's create a new game object, MC game object, and call that fences. Okay, and then use the last fence, that's the concrete fence version 1 wall set 2, wall set version 2, and then drag that into fences, and then we have this fence here. Okay, so we can control how the characters are within the space. Okay, so drag it all the way to the edge of the road. Okay, make sure it is properly aligned with the ground. You can always use F to focus and then use your mouse scroll to view, and then yeah, so we have that fence there. Okay, and then go back to normal, go back to top view and duplicate and kind of try to cover up the entire space with the fence. Duplicate again. Okay, make sure that nothing is showing. Okay, let's make sure that this is good. Okay, then click away. Okay, it is not properly aligned. So you can hold Control or Shift to select multiple game objects, and then yeah. All right, that is closed up. So Control to select multiple game objects, Control D to duplicate. So let's cover up this entire environment. Okay. So the fence, Control D, and then we need this fence to move around somewhere here. Okay, so either you do this or just do 90 and then go back to W, enter W, and then cover up that space. Okay. Okay, I do hope we're all following along nicely and nobody is currently left behind or doesn't understand what I'm currently doing. So we're just setting a simple environment just to make sure that the players are, properly arranged in the map. Okay, for this empty space, because we're going to be moving here, you can just use the road. Okay, duplicate the road and then cover that up nicely. Okay, make sure it's properly covered up. Yeah, so duplicate and then back to 0 and set it to the edge, and yeah, we would have that. We have curved fences too, so you can drag a curved fence into the environment. Okay, and kind of 90 and then follow up that curve there just a little bit. Let's kind of bring this here, select the ones we have here and bring it to the edge, just align ourselves there, for a bit. Okay, align that there, and you think we can. Okay, let's get another curved in here. Okay, and then bring this in here, sort of 90, 270. Yeah, 270 works, and then properly align them. Okay. Okay, we need to make sure that they're properly aligned there. If you find it difficult to align them with the snapping tool, you can always switch off the snap and then go back and properly align them with your discretion and see what works for you. Bring this down a bit and then bring this down also a bit, just a little bit, just that, so that everything looks okay. And then when you're satisfied with what you have, you can switch it back on and then continue from where you stopped. Okay, so there we go. And then this is not properly okay. We can cover up that up using this. As much as you can, just use your discretion to kind of figure out how to set up the entire space, and then bring in this to yeah, add a bit of change. No, 90 doesn't work. Minus 90. Okay, minus 90 works for us. Okay, and then a smaller fence to kind of, yeah, I know it might. All right, so yeah, we have all of that working just fine. Oh wow. So okay, make sure everything looks good. You can go back and check through and see that your environment works perfectly. If it doesn't, you can always use your tools, set it up properly, go back to the front view, then so that works. Okay, so zoom it in, and then like I said, sometimes you'd want to just align something. So use your T, your rec tool, to position everything as much as you can. So now you see that error has been corrected, and then you can properly arrange up whatever it is you want to arrange, and that is covered up nicely. So you can see it's seamless over there. So just go around. Okay. Okay, yeah, Idris, what's up?
Yeah. So the snapping of a thing. I
Yeah.
want you to just please um get me through how we can do the snapping so that we can be able to align the object very well. That snapping measurement of it.
Okay, awesome. All right, so to get your snapping working, there's this on your scene view. That's if you're using Unity 2021 plus, that's anything above 2021. You can on top of your scene view, you'd see this set of tabs just at the top of your scene view. Along with it, you would see there's a grid icon with a magnet on it. When you hover on it, you see the prompt saying toggle grid snapping on and off, which indicates that this is your toggle tool, your snapping tool. Okay, so
Yeah, but mine is grayed out. I don't know why.
Yeah, mine too.
yours is grayed out. Wow, that's nice. Okay, that is really that's really weird. That's not supposed to happen. Yeah, what version of
Okay,
Unity
I
are
think
you
I think
on?
you
Sorry.
just need to turn on the global. There's another icon next to it, the global and local. So it should be global. I just turned it on and then
Oh,
I'm good
okay.
now.
Oh, all right.
Okay,
Okay.
let me
Yeah.
try. Let me try that.
It has to be global. Obvious. Unity is on by default global, so I don't know. Probably you guys switched it up at some point. I'm not sure, but yeah, it has to be global orientation before you can snap. So yeah, make sure it's set to global. And to toggle between global and local orientation or axis, you can use X. So if you use X, it switches between global and local. So yeah, when you're on local, you won't be able to use grid snapping. Yeah. So since that, I guess that works for you now.
No, not yet. I've changed to global, but it's still grayed out.
It's still grayed out. That is weird. Okay. There's a tool close to, let's see. That is the only reason why that should, okay, let me switch this off. That's not supposed to be happening. All right, I'm coming. Let's see. Tool panels. It's okay. UI toolkit. That is all right. So
I can't see your screen, so
can you share your screen? Can you share your screen so that we can figure out what's going on with yours?
Okay, I'll share my screen, but I can see yours too. But okay, let me share
Yeah,
mine.
yeah. Share yours. Share yours. You just switched it off so that you could share yours. Okay. Hey, someone asked the question. What's the name of the straight road we're using again? Okay, let me just can you open the Unity project you're currently on? All right, so this is the name of the, I think Mohammed asked. So this is the name of the straight road we're using, road set version 1 tile 1. All right, so can you open up the I can't see the project here.
Sorry, I shared the wrong one. Let me share again.
All right, so just share your entire screen also so that we can see what's going on with you.
Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. So you can see.
All right, switch to your move tool. You're using you're using your snap tool.
Okay,
Switch to your
okay,
move
okay.
tool. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
when you're panning around, you're not supposed to be able um to snap anything.
Snap. Oh.
Yeah, so it's only when you're
And
moving around that your snap tool will be active.
okay, thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
awesome. Okay, so let's go back. Let's quickly do something. Let's quickly put something together. All right. Can we all see my screen now? All right. So let's quickly do let's, let's quickly do this. Okay. That so just try as much as possible to get everything properly set up. Are we all good? I can hear someone's mic is switched on. Someone's mic is still switched on. Idris, can you
Oh,
please? Yeah, thank you. All right. So let's cover up this entire map, and then what we can easily do is just select all the fences along this side, and then duplicate and push them to the other side. So that's Control D, and then move them all the way to the other side here. Okay, move them all the way to the other side. All right, so make sure that it's covering every aspect, every side of the environment. So duplicate that, zero, and then let's use the top view, and then block this out. So F to focus, and then confirm that this is properly arranged. All right, there we go. So this way, no this way no player goes off the map. And then let's cover up the floor quickly. So select all of these and then duplicate. Make sure your snapping tool is on this time so that this can be properly done. And then cover up the entire road that way, and then cover this side too so that we can start adding buildings all over the map. Our map is relatively small, so we won't have so many things to do. But I just wanted to make sure that we understand how to set up an environment, how to use the tools necessary to do that, so that by the time we start coding and creating characters and working on animations and stuff, we would have a an environment to navigate around. So this is our simple environment. Very simple, very easy. I think this is not snapped properly. Okay, it's probably snapped. Kind of so. Okay, so now that we have a compound that is fenced, let's put a bunch of random buildings within this space so that it won't look boring and uneventful. Okay, so that is that with our roads. We can put our roads somewhere. and our fences are done. Now let's work on buildings. So let's scroll all the way back to buildings and look for something interesting. Okay, let's see. You can always inspect with your inspector. Try to see what works, what looks good, and what looks nice. So yeah, let's put this in building. Okay, let's put this somewhere here, and then rotate this to face that. Okay, that looks good. So this building will be the closest to our start point. Okay, let's make it face the road. Let's say minus 90. Doesn't work. Let's see. Okay, I think 180 is good there. All right, so it's facing the road. Now let's make sure it's just right after the road. Okay, there we go. So you can walk in the middle and then, across the building. So what I want us to do is, kind of put buildings that would go from here all the way in to here, and then a few industrial components that would be, just scattered across within this space. So let's get another building. Something. Let's see. Let's look at this. Let's do that. Let's do that, and then put this somewhere here, right in front. Okay. All right. So you can see how good the snapping is working for us, so that we are able to, properly place these objects, these buildings. Okay. It's just right on top. I want it to be right on top. Yeah, Control Z. I think I moved something else there. Okay, yeah, there we go. It's right on top of the road. Okay, so now let's move it to the side so that another building can be here. Right on the side, but not too much. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, that is still not perfect. Somewhere around there. So yeah, that's cool. All right, let's put in another building between those two, and then put that at an angle so that when you're going across, you'd see the building at an angle between those buildings. Let's work with a building we've not worked on before. Nope, something simple. This is supposed to be on top of something else. Okay, this is just front. This building is okay. Who has a question? All right, Mohammed.
Yeah, so it's me. I am inserting my words, but then they're not coming up. I
You are
can't
what?
see anything. I can't visually see anything.
I didn't get your question.
I am I'm putting in the roads in my workspace, but I can't see anything.
You're building the world in your workspace, but you can't see anything.
Yeah, I can't see. I just put in the road, but I can't see it on my work screen.
I'm not sure what that is or what that means. Okay. Um. Okay. Probably. Let me see. Can you like type it out so that I understand clearly? Because I think I'm confusing what you're saying at the moment. You said you can't see anything in your work
So what I
screen.
mean, yes, what I mean is that when I'm inserting the asset, I'm supposed to see the asset on the environment, right? So,
Okay.
but then when I'm inserting it, I can't see the asset in it.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Let me see. Okay. So what you're saying is when you bring the assets into the environment, you don't see them.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so like dragging and dropping a hair, you don't see this game object.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay, okay, let's see. When you drag it in, click on the game object, but you can
Yeah.
see the game object on your hierarchy, yeah?
I
You
can see it
can,
here.
yeah, okay.
I can even see the arrows, vertical and horizontal arrows. Yeah.
Okay, you can see the arrows, these arrows, but you don't
Yes.
see the
Yes.
physical object itself.
Yes.
Oh, wow, that is a problem. Okay, let's see. Let me see something. Let me make sure that what is going on that is also working. Hmm. Okay, so go to click on the game object.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Then go to there is a component. Go to the inspector. There's a component called the mesh filter.
Mesh filter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see mesh
Is
renderer.
is there anything inside the mesh? There's a slot for the mesh. Is there anything inside the mesh, or is it
Yeah,
empty?
yeah. No, it's not empty.
It's not empty. Okay. What about the mesh renderer in the materials? Is the materials empty?
Mesh renderer. The element is not empty. The material is one. No,
Okay. Wow.
it's not
Cause
empty.
cause if the mesh renderer if the material is there and the mesh is there, you're supposed to be seeing something in your scene. So, hmm? All right, okay, just share your screen. Share your screen. Let me see if I can figure out what's going on because that is quite weird for your game objects to not be showing. Let me stop this for now.
Okay.
Can you share your screen? Yeah.
I'm gonna I'm gonna play a video because I'm using my phone. So I'm gonna play video and flip the
Okay, just
screen.
yeah, show us the video.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you see? So here I got the object thing and look at the object. I can see the arrows, but I can see it. So here's what
Hmm.
you're talking about.
Hmm. Wow.
Mesh.
Everything is supposed to be working okay right now.
Material
But it's not just
mesh.
visible. Hmm. That is weird. Okay. Everything looks okay. But you can see them in your actual yeah, you can see them in the project window, but they're not just
Okay, here.
showing. It's not showing in the
Yeah.
viewport. Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm? It's actually focused in the viewport. It's just empty. All right, so I'm trying to figure out what might be the issue because everything looks to be okay, but can you scroll in? Can you try to scroll into your viewport, or hit F on your scene view, hit F. There we go.
Oh,
Yeah, you were zoomed
what
out of.
happened?
You were too far from the object. So if you zoom out to a
Okay.
certain point, you won't be able to see the object. It's like looking at a human being from space. The human being is there, but you are too
Yeah.
far to see the human. Yeah. So basically, that's what happens. Okay. So I'm glad we could
But
figure.
I thought the more you zoom out, the more the arrows maybe get bigger, small.
No, 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 no. No, it's a you are trying. You're more or less just giving a wider view of. It's like you're taking a step back to see a bigger picture of what you're working with. Not that the game object itself would expand. Did you get?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it's more like
Okay.
stepping back to see get a better picture of what you're working with. When you're too close, it's kind of hard to figure out where everything is in perspective. So by the time you like zoom out, you kind of have a wider view of the environment you're working with.
Thank you.
All right, awesome. Okay, so in order not to waste so much time, let's quickly just put something together and then see because I want to show us I want to show us something cool with this. All right, so that is that. Okay, so yeah, so let's just if that's zoomed out, you see it becomes smaller, and then for at some point we don't see it again. So if I just select something and then hit F, it brings everything back to focus. So that's a good way to work with your assets when they become too far out. So if they're out of the screen, I can hit the environment, hit F, and then it comes back to focus. Okay, so yeah, that's why I wanted us to figure out the shortcuts as we move along. It's a good thing we're having. It's not a good thing we're having issues, but at least it's a good thing that the issues are coming up now, so that when we um, have them outside of the classroom, we would be able to know what to do. Okay, so yeah, let's put in another building. We're trying to figure out what building to put in here. This building doesn't have a back. Does this one? Okay, let's have something different in here. So this building, okay, and then bring this here, and then let's kind of rotate it 30 degrees instead of our normal 90. So 30 degrees and then bring it to the edge of the road. Does this make sense? Okay, just here, just to have something here. Okay, that works. I know. Okay, so yeah, but when it comes to this, still looking kind of weird for me. So let's say 45. Yeah, 45 looks a whole lot better. And then somewhere here. All right. And then what works? What works? Check out other buildings. All right. So instead of a building now, let's put a barrel somewhere in between buildings or no. Okay. Containers. All right. Let's work with a container. I'm trying to see what works best for the scene. All right, let's have let's have something else. Let's create a new, and then let's say others for now. Okay, let's say others for now, and then dumpster. So just to kind of have a change in the environment. We'll put the dumpster somewhere here, and then focus on dumpster, and then make sure it is properly placed close to the building. Okay, it's not snapping properly, so I can just switch off snapping and then properly place it. So just till it touches the floor. There we go. Alright, I guess that works fine. Okay, that works fine. And yeah, let's try to put a bunch of other things. Let's see, oil tank. Hmm. Let's put an oil tank and figure out where to place it in the space. Let's have a bunch of oil tanks here. Duplicate, duplicate. Yeah, so that we can cover up the environment quickly. But when you're working with an actual environment, there will be a layout probably by your design team or stuff that would make more sense. I'm just trying to show us how to put things together quickly using snapping, different tools to make sure that you get around it fast. Air conditioner, nah, that is quite small. Generator, okay, let's see if this generator is big enough. Not quite, but let's just put it at the side of this building and have it be 90 degrees. Zoom in, focus, and then let's say this generator, this is like an industrial generator because it's a part of this building here, something to make that make sense. Then, okay, so let's see other objects, pipes, industrial pipes. Okay, I think we can have multiple of these, just somewhere at the back here, and then duplicate them. Let's make sure it's aligned properly. Duplicate these, and then okay, the two is still inside. Okay, just right there. Make sure snapping is back on. All right. We have those. Someone has a question. I'm listening. Okay. Oh, wow. Are we all good? Can we all hear me? Are we good?
Yeah, the network is kind of breaking.
Yeah, I just noticed. I think it's a bit settled now. All right, awesome. So, we have
Yes.
the, okay, thank you. We have the, let's add one more of the, not the roads, one more of this industrial pipes somewhere here, just to cover that space up. Okay, so we're having something good going on here, just a bit. And then put a bunch of other buildings somewhere around here. We might not be able to cover up lots of stuff, but at least I think pipe sets could work. Yeah. Okay. So what I can do is put a bunch of these together and see how they would work for us. Okay. Let's see. That's too small. We can always scale. So let's scale this and try to create a kind of network, something to give an interesting look here. All right, then go to pipes. So for this, you guys can experiment, see what works for you. So I'm going to set like a bunch of pipes here between the buildings. So this building, okay, between these. Okay, I think five is too much. Let's say three, 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 and then bring this up a wee bit, just till they're right above the ground. There we go. And then pipe. Let's have a pipe network somewhere here. Okay, and then yeah. So this pipe starts here, duplicate, and then continues from there, and bring this so that it stops at the end that way. Duplicate that, and then bring this to the other side. So we have something, nice looking there. And then let's put this in here and drag that here. There's an industry. So just try to imagine what they would look like, being in an industrial complex, and then, figure out stuff from there. So that pipe system runs from here to here, and then make it make sense as much as you can. So yeah, that we good. You can see, yeah. So let's make it look different. So just tilt that a bit, and then let's run something from here all the way here, and for change purpose, for the purpose of change in style. So W, bring that over here. Yeah, so this can be like a supply tank, for the different buildings. Might not make sense now, but just to have something going on. So that would be in charge of supplying maybe gas across all the parts of the environment here. Let's see what's this. Okay, let's just have something here. Does that make sense? Okay, so setting up an environment is just trying to figure out what looks good where, and then making sure that everything works just fine according to how you envisioned it. So put that there, put that here, put that here, and then let's just have something interesting. Okay, I'm not sure what else looks good. Let's add a fence between. Let's add a fence here. So we'll go back to fences, add a fence, and then put the fence somewhere here. Okay, just to cover up space, I guess. Okay, let's make sure we're all good. Okay, so the call is going to be ending in 10 minutes. So I will just do something simple just to make sure that everything looks good. Set this, bring this here. So on your own, you can work on something, might not be the same as what I have, but you can work on something that looks really nice. Yours might even be better. Some of you might be more creative than I am, so just put as much effort into making something good. I think that should be our assignment for the week. Use this asset and create an industrial look. You can maybe browse up industrial environments, okay? Take a picture, take a screenshot or something, and then come up with an industrial look. You can see this looks all right. So use the assets you have and then come up with an industrial environment such as the ones we have put together. Okay, and then using all the tools you've learned and what we have, and then put something really nice together. All right, so now we have an environment, sort of. It's it's not currently functional. Like there's nothing going on now. We just have the environment. What are we going to do with the environment? So what I'm going to do is last week I'm going to give us I'm going to share with us a controller script that would be creating soon enough when we start coding that we can be able to use to look around the environment. Okay, so for those of us that were in the last class, we would remember. So do make sure to save. I just remember that I was hitting Control S, Control S. So I want to remind us, always make sure you save as you work. You don't want all of this nice looking stuff to go to waste. Okay, so there was a player script that I have, a player controller script that I have, that you can use to navigate around. So I'm going to share that script with us and how to set it up. Okay, so I'm going to share that script with us. So I'm going to copy it from here and then move it to our environment stage and then paste here. So this is that game object here. So I'm going to move it all the way here. Make sure it is somewhere there. Oh, I scaled it up. Forgot I scaled it up. Somewhere here and then okay. All right, somewhere there and we will be good to go. Okay, so I have to make sure that the environment. So let's just say default. Okay, let's just say default. All right, so if we go to the game scene, this is what we will be able to see. Let's switch off this main camera. Okay, and then play the game. Okay, just try to go around the entire um, map, just to see what we have so far, see if it works. So there we go. This is the environment we just created. You can walk around. See? Okay, so we can look around, and then the road is now accessible. That is the dumpster we put there. Okay, I hope you can all see my screen though, because it will be so annoying if you guys can't. So yeah, the environment we just worked on is now accessible. We can now, this is the generator that we added. This is the shadow of our capsule. So you see, this is what game development is about, putting together an environment, making the environment that's a problem. It's floating. But these are the things that we would put together to have a world. So that's the end of the road, and we've successfully been able to create an environment that can be moved around. So we can move around. So that fence we put, you remember we put a fence there, and our fence is floating too. But do make sure that everything you walk on, you can properly go around, look. So I'm controlling the player controller and looking around the environment. So yeah, this is what we have time to cover for today. We've put together a very simple environment, and yeah, okay. I think a bunch of us have a question. Questions. Okay, so yeah. Idris first, then we'll take Adeola's question. Idris.
Okay, okay. So how are you controlling that player to go around like that?
Okay, so you'd use the WASD key. Okay, W to move forward, S to move back, A to move. Thank you, guys. Thank you. W to move forward, S to move back, A to move left, D to move right. Normal controller if you've played games on your PC. Okay, and then use your mouse to
All right.
look up, down, and around. Don't worry, as we move forward, when we start coding, when we start doing gameplay programming, I will teach you guys how to create a very simple controller such as that. Okay, so that you can be able
All
to
right.
go around your environment and see what your environment looks like being played within the game itself. Yeah, Adeola, what's up?
Yeah, I wanted to ask the this environment you just created. This can
Yeah,
also be done in a terrain setting, right?
I can't hear you.
This environment that was created now,
Yeah,
it can be
yeah.
done in a terrain setting, like you have a proper terrain with mountains and all that, you can also have this
Exactly. Yeah, you
together.
can. You can. You can. When you create a terrain, I don't know. Probably when we're working on a project eventually, because we're going to work on a project eventually, I would show us how to use terrain tools. But for now, I just wanted to make sure that you understood how to have all of these things set, properly set, and how to put everything together. So, but yes, you can have this kind of environment in a terrain system, like when you have a terrain set up with grass, your a field, and mountains, hills, and stuff like that. You can put together different type of elements and environment assets, to come up with a maybe a really large world or a really large space. If you've played open world games, it's that kind of system they use. They have a very large terrain with surrounding mountains and all of that, and then let me say, these different types of small environments can be scattered across the terrain, to kind of give the full view, the full look of the entire world. But yeah, it's very much possible.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So that is what we can cover for today. I really had a nice time, putting this together with you guys and explaining how I work on environments. I just had to go through this quickly, but usually it's not this fast because there are a whole lot of things to consider while putting things together. But when you keep working on projects like this, you would get to understand what you need to do, where this needs to be, where that needs to be. But just because I'm the only one working on this, usually you have a team that would get you your assets, do your 3D modeling for you, someone that would give you a map of what the entire environment would look like, and then you follow that map to set the environment. But this was just, out of my head. All right, so thank you guys. The meeting is over. This is for the recording. When you guys eventually see this, we should be able to follow up on everything else. So yeah, that brings us to the end of the class. Okay, I think we can still, have final notes somewhere. Let me quickly, sorry. All right, there we go. I think I need to switch. All right. We finished up the class. So I just wanted to use this. I think it was mentioned that we should wrap it up with this. So yeah, I just wanted to go through the assignment once again and make sure that good with we're all good with what the assignment is about. So basically, the assignment is for us to look the assignment is for us to create an environment, not maybe similar to this or bigger, depending on what you are interested in working with, and then submit screenshots or do a simple video of you going around that environment. So two things, I would write it out in the group so that we all know what we're going to do. Two things, I would want um, an overhead picture or overhead screenshot of this view. You can take a screenshot on your PC. If you're using a Windows PC, just hold Shift Windows S to bring up the clip tool and then click. Okay, and then you can save this in your you can save this on your PC. Okay, you can save this on your PC. You just save and then select a location and then save. So that is what you would be submitting. So this is my downloads and then save. So that is what you're going to be submitting. The second thing you'll be submitting aside this is a video. Okay, sorry. Yeah, what's up? Okay, sorry. The second thing you'll be submitting is you go to your game view. I'll be giving you the player controller. So you go to your game view, hit play, and then give me a video of, just give a short video of you moving around. So use your mouse to look around, W to move forward, D to move left, right, and A to move left, S to move backwards. So you just give me a simple, like 1 minute going through the entire map. If you can cover your map in 1 minute, but at least 1 to 2 minutes, go through the entire road system, and then I want to see what it looks like going around your map. So that's the assignments for the week. Create so that's, yeah, create an entire environment. Create an entire environment with this, and then we'll be working on, so this is assignment one, because we're going to have another assignment tomorrow. Don't worry, the assignment you have tomorrow is going to be simpler, so don't fret about that. So yeah, those are the assignments that you'll be having. I'm going to send it to the group in case we forget. So I guess that rounds up the class. Any questions or confirmations from anybody?
How many percent? Ẹ̀yin aláàgọ́ mẹ́rin ìrún ò lọ. Mo lọ sí tẹ́lẹ̀ lọ.
Are we good? Idris, I can hear you.
Oh, yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
All right. Okay. So no questions from anybody. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I guess that rounds up the class for today. I will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to start learning how to code in C sharp. We're going to start programming in C sharp. So at the end of the week, that is by Saturday, I'll start explaining how to do gameplay programming. So tomorrow we're going to go through the basics of programming using the C sharp language. So so I will see you guys tomorrow. Do have a great evening, and yeah, thank you guys for coming for today's class.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you everybody for showing up. Please don't forget later tonight, ask me anything section with Fahida. It's 8 p.m. The link will be dropped in the community once it's time. Thank you for showing up. See you later. Bye.
So